Good evening, and welcome back to Savannah by Night, Episode 5, our Vampire the Masquerade campaign. For those of you new here, it's a slightly darker game in some scopes. So if you're finding it's not quite for you or you need to take a little break, please do so. We understand. Um, we've discussed among the players if they have any issues. We find content that doesn't quite meet the red light, green light, yellow light that we've discussed. They can at any point just hold up their hand and say, I would like to either fast forward, pause and discuss, or gloss over this, edit it entirely, whatever we need to do. Because the point is, darkness is not the game. It's not the fun part. It's meant to embellish and highlight the story that's there so that everyone can have a good time. Now, that being said, we are playing this every Wednesday until infinity or until Sam, the producer, gets tired and moves on, which will be at the end of the session. But we will be returning on Tuesday with our D&D game where we're doing weird, spooky shit in Sparta. Don't worry about it. Don't ask. But if you want to know more about our games, our events, and what we have upcoming, please look at our socials, our Discord, and keep in touch. Now, does anybody else have any announcements, any links they want to share, things that they want to shout out to? No, nothing? Good talk.
I'm not going to let a birthday go by. I'm pretty sure Martell will be out next week. So happy early birthday, sucker. You thought you could get away.
Oh, I did. I did think I could get away. You got me.
Get good.
Yikes.
Well, happy early birthday. But in lieu of anything else, I believe now is a good time to tell a vampire story, shall we? Last time on Savannah by Night. The young neonates finally ventured out from the relative safety of Wormslow's protected grounds, with Christiana, the Seneschal's child, asked to guide some of them. Each eventually finds somewhere to be, someone to sneak a much, much needed drink of blood from. For Kate, she finds not a gentleman, at the bar who is far too eager to whisk her away from the scene, except he is the prey. While she does strike out at the next venue, there is some possible connection made and perhaps motivation to go back and see how things play out next time. Tabby is shown to a homeless encampment, not unlike so many she's seen before. Newly made over and freshly stolen, but more importantly, clean clothes. She leaves her rags among the detritus beneath the overpass after finding someone to sip on. Poppy finds a double French braided mousy art history student to figuratively and very, very literally sink her teeth into after prodigiously flirting in her direction. Numbers may or may not have been exchanged, but Poppy seems to reflect on it alone in the bathroom with bloody tears, perhaps reminded of something or someone. Cora finds an affable man cusping on 50 to strike up a conversation with. He seems to have a good handle of just what sorts of places are all around the county, ranging from Civil War ruins to just where all the good neighborhood bars are, though notably preferring the one they're already at. Cora gets his number and a surreptitious drink, playing off his doziness as simply having shared a pitcher together far too quickly. Artem flexes as he eyes a young woman and promptly steals a bottle of vodka right from behind the bar, with her getting to see every muscle and sinew twisting under the pale slab of marble that are his arms. She is all too happy to join him in this little bit of liberation and libation as they adjourn to the back of the Range Rover that brought our Quattro of Kindred to Chuck's bar. But after such a frolicking, it would eventually dawn on him that he is meant to be chaperoning his fellow gangrel, the one with the self-control issues and steak knives for hands. And he's left her all alone in the bar. So, Artem, other than a plaid-laden girl named Julia, what are you doing?
Well, I have my revelation, and then I realize I need to get back to the bar really fast.
Hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you
So,
take her with you? Do you just leave her, like, don't go anywhere, or?
um, no, I'll let her. I open the door, let her out. I think I'd already asked for the number.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then
What do you
I'll
say to her?
basically sorry, I have to get back in there.
You need to
You
get
know
back
how
in
it is.
here.
Later, I'll call you.
Ugh, maybe I'll answer.
Maybe.
Okay. Do you leave her the bottle of vodka, or do you take it with you?
Oh, it's hers. What am I going to do with it?
I don't know, power move. You head back to the bar.
Yeah.
Okay. We will get to that in just a second. I want to touch base with Cora and Poppy just to know where you two are in the scene. Are you still in the bathroom, Poppy, or have you?
She's probably trying to get the bloody tears off of her cheeks, and then as soon
Mhm.
as she does, she'll go outside to try to meet up with Kate, who she texted.
Okay, so you're not going to stay in the bar, you are heading out directly.
Yeah, I feel like she'll just wait outside the bar.
Okay. And Cora, where are you at the moment?
I would have gone over to, provided there's a space available,
Mhm.
sit next to Lewis and Harlan.
Okay. I will say that Poppy is going to be passing by Artem. Do you two exchange any interaction as you pass in the night?
Uh, yeah, Poppy will say, hey, I just texted Kate that we're here, and she's gonna swing by with a car if you want to get Christiana, and I'll maybe we can find Cora, and head on over to the racetrack.
You still in there? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. Cool.
Cool. I'll be outside.
Okay.
Back in.
We're just going to put Poppy on pause for mode if that's okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, Martel, what is Artem's worry as he's heading into the bar again? Is he worried?
That she's not there.
Mm. Okay. Well, this is where the camera is going to pan over to Cora as she is sitting with Harlan and Lewis and Christiana, who's sitting up on the table. She was having a fairly animated conversation with her two guys by the time Cora sits down. And Harlan specifically would be kind of warm and jovial towards you, Cora, welcoming you down to sit, even giving you his chair so you can kind of just feel like you're part of the circle kind of thing. And it's just a lot of idle bullshit talk. There's nothing really specific happening.
Okay, fantastic.
Lewis is definitely a little bit more quiet. He chimes in now and again, but it's a little more, despite the fact that he's clearly drinking, he's too somber and sober.
So, I want to ask about that because I've now seen Christiana take a long drink of beer, and Lewis is also drinking a beer currently. Okay, like, so, you guys like that stuff?
And I would say that Artem is walking in just as you're starting to bring up this conversation as well. So
Wipe the panic from his face. It's fine. He wasn't worried.
Lewis kind of shrugs at it. It's Christiana that speaks up, though. And it's a little bit more of a muted expression, and it's a little not unlike what you saw when the realization that she was wearing steak knives for hands, sitting in the back of the car, and she's holding her beer in a little bit more of a downcast expression, a tiny bit, and she looks not at Harlan, but kind of past him before she turns back to you. And it tastes like battery acid. But
Yeah, I think rusty nails.
but sometimes you do what you can to fit in to try and feel normal. And at that, Lewis kind of just takes a very long drag of his beer bottle.
I had a friend we'd like to go for Turkish coffee together.
Harlan, I feel like I heard of that. What's the thing with Turkish coffee?
It's small, it's very thick. Sometimes they serve with a blob of butter.
He looks over at Artem and butter and coffee. I know you said Turkish, but that might be the most absurdly American thing I've ever heard.
Cora's gonna laugh. Well, I'm fitting in then.
Well, let me know when you deep fry it, and I think I'll just complete the circle.
I haven't had anything deep fried here. Well, and she's gonna shrug, tilt her head.
I mean, if you're frying the right meal around here, they're kind of deep fried in their own way.
It's just what I was thinking.
And
So
he's gonna look at the two of you. I'm sorry, did you want to say something there?
Artem had walked in. Has he sat down near us or just kind of
Yes.
hovering? Okay.
Yeah, no, he's sat down, looking again, completely composed. That was never worried for a second.
Let's roll for that.
What would you like?
Yes.
We're gonna go self-control, I think.
Self-control. Hey, I'm actually not bad at this one.
No, actually, hold on.
Dexterity.
I'm trying to think what that could be mixed with.
Dexterity and
anecdotes?
drive.
In my
Let's go
old
with-
world of
Let's go with
Subterfuge.
manipulation.
oh. Okay,
Do you
one.
have subterfuge?
No.
Okay. We're gonna go with. Okay, I'm not gonna be the really mean person and do subterfuge because that's giving
You
you
could.
a die with higher. But we're gonna go with self-control in your manipulation.
Okay, cool.
And the way that we're doing this is not so much that you're trying to lie to them as
Trying
much
to lie
as
to
just
myself.
trying to lie to yourself and trying to just rein yourself in. You walked in with a little bit of a panic storm.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to put that concerned genie back in the bottle.
Yep. What is our
I'm going to just
target
go with a
number here?
basic 6
Okay.
DC.
3?
You got 3 successes? Any ones?
No.
Okay.
Cool as a cucumber.
Now here's the thing. Cora, were you looking at Artem when he walked in?
I would have this direction.
Okay. I'm going to give you our first opposing roll.
Okay, what are my
Perception and empathy.
Okay.
And you're just trying to get either as many or more successes than he did.
That's 3.
Right.
Same DC.
Perception and empathy.
Or if you can
I'm
make
good
me
with
an
that. I'm
argument
good
for
with
a
that.
different skill set.
Perception and empathy works just fine. What was the number to beat?
6 or higher.
Okay. Got one of my successes was defeated by a 1, sadly. So I have 2.
Okay. I'm going to say you managed to get away with it then, Artem.
Damn, he's good. It's like a chameleon. One of the
Or
most
everyone's just
crucial characters
distracted
ever.
by his abs. It's fine.
It helps.
And in that case, when Artem comes in and sits down, I will nudge him and say, "You have the keys?"
Oh, of course.
Thank you. I don't have a prop with me, but
All right,
Thank you, by the way.
of course. Did you have a nice time?
Yeah. You know. A gentleman doesn't discuss.
And nothing I'm going to have to deal with either later?
I don't think so. I hurried out, but if there is, I'll make sure it's fine.
Okay.
All right, so how we feeling about going to the track tonight?
We're already
Really?
going, actually.
That was our plan, yeah.
And you do see Christiana just, yeah?
Did you not? Oh, we didn't tell you, did we?
No.
Well, we're going to the track.
I heard Raleigh is going to be there. And that's when Harlan goes, well, now I'm having some second thoughts.
And not a fan. She's the DJ, right?
Oh, yeah, she's great and everything. It's just not my kind of music.
I think you're missing out. Probably.
Oh, well. I don't go for the tunes anyway, so you just be among the crowd. But if you're all going, maybe we could play a little bit of music chairs if you don't mind.
She'll look at Artem. It's like, suits me.
Well, what I'm suggesting is Autumn Christiana, why don't you ride with me, and Lewis and Cora can get to know each other as well, close family.
Lewis, you alright with that?
He looks to Harlan, but it's not like a leer or anything. It's more just shrugs, but he kind of gives a little bit of a warier eye to Artem. Yes. Yeah, no. We get to talk.
Good then.
Works for me.
So we're all closed out here?
Yeah, don't worry about it. I took care of it.
Oh yeah, I forgot to pay. Oops.
You know, I want to know, but I don't want to.
I'll show you sometime.
Well, now, new kid's full of surprises. All right, we going?
Let's do it.
Okay. So as you filter into cars, we're going to pick up with Kate and Poppy.
I'll pull up to the address that was sent to me. Is everyone else kind of stumbling out as I pull up?
I would say, because how far away were you?
Just a
Not
couple
very.
blocks.
Yeah. I'd say you'd be pulling up and they are just starting to walk out, but Poppy's probably on the street already, which
Okay.
is interesting considering what she's not quite wearing.
I will roll down the window as I pull up, and Poppy, you see this dark, very nice, very new black Cadillac.
Wow. Thanks for coming by. This is beautiful. Is this yours?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'm riding with you then. And Poppy will slide into the passenger seat.
And I'm gonna look for a second to see if anyone else changes their mind at the last second, needs a ride.
Anyone want to ride in the lack?
Don't want to make your car dirty.
Gross.
And then just Kate decides not to comment on that.
Did she just drive away at that point, or
Yeah.
Window up.
Yes.
no puppies in my car?
Cora's just gonna give a wave acknowledging that they're there and then leaving.
What does Poppy's face look like?
She like immediately will pull down like the mirror and be just kind of like double checking. I think she's definitely like left a splotch like on the far left corner of her eye that she didn't notice in like the dim light of the bathroom mirror that she's trying to like get out of her skin as best as she can.
There's a kit in the glove compartment.
A kit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And she'll open it up.
And you see there's like a makeup bag, and inside it there's like some makeup wipes and just like little like Sephora samples, but it's all very Kate colors. So it's like neutrals, nothing like fun, but you know, a little mascara, a little like nude lipstick, some powder.
This is amazing. Are you one of those people that uses packing cubes when you pack a suitcase?
I don't travel much anymore.
Why's that?
I mean, when... Oh, that's right. You said you'd been to a lot of courts.
A few. I mean, like a normal amount, I guess.
No, I was kind of working nonstop.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. But you didn't travel for work with your sire or anything?
I mean, no offense to the rest of America, but DC is kind of the place to be.
Really?
Yeah, everyone came to us.
Huh. And you liked it?
And when you work for the Prince of DC, you are always working.
Huh. Is that what you want to do here?
What, work?
Yeah. Like work your way up.
It'd be a pretty unventure thing to say no to that.
Yeah. That's really admirable, actually. That's very cool. At least you have something that you know you want to do.
So tonight went well? Or
Oh, yeah.
he's
It
gonna
was
kind of look
great.
at the you fixing yourself up not either really well or not so well.
I think Poppy has kind of mastered the like smudged makeup look a little bit over the years, and has kind of converted what was once like a pretty sharp cat eye to a smudgy liner, which kind of works with the grungy, repurposed coveralls situation she has on.
To that point, I feel like I need to give you the same role that just happened between Artem and Cora.
Yeah, that's fair. Very fair. So that
So,
was
for you, because you probably have a bit of subterfuge, would you like to roll manipulation,
yeah.
subterfuge, and Kate perception, or perception and empathy? Because you're trying to hide that you had a bit of a moment.
Mm-hmm.
What was the
Just
DC
DC of
of that?
6.
Ooh, then that one canceled out my one success. So
Yeah, and I just have one success.
Okay. So you're getting a sense of something beneath the surface, but you have no idea what. And that's all you're going to get from that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was good. I think pretty much everybody fed, which is great. I just needed to get some fresh air afterwards. But yeah. I haven't had like a full meal other than like the blood bag situation in a little bit, so that was nice.
Yeah.
How about you? How was your evening?
Oh, successful.
In that dress, for sure.
And speaking of, Kate is no longer in that dress since we
Oh,
are headed
fine.
to the racetrack. I mean, you saw her in the dress earlier.
I saw it.
Yeah. She is currently in a black J. Crew sweater. I think Poppy and Kate have mentioned those at one point.
Yes.
Very like well-tailored jeans, some oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the designer. It's like a fusion between like an ankle booty and a loafer.
Like a Chelsea boot?
Kind of. But that vibe and like a nice like cognac colored belt with a French tuck with her sweater.
Kate would be all about the French tuck for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But it went well.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well enough to warrant a costume change?
Well, I wasn't going to wear a dress and heels out to a racetrack.
Ah, that is true. Yes.
There is a time and place for wardrobe.
Totally. Very cool. I hope I haven't been too forward. I know that there are a lot of secretive kind of customs around, well, being us, and I hope I have not overstepped a boundary by just being a lot.
It's refreshing seeing
Oh.
a different kind of toreador.
Different kind of tour. That's nice to hear. Thank you. Um, yeah, but just let me know if I ever overstep or, step over a boundary. I don't have many friends like us. So,
Well, we've all found ourselves in a new place with new company.
right. Right. That's nice. We're all on the same playing field at least.
Feel
Poppy
free.
looks out the window and doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, Kate doesn't really either.
I feel like the we pan out on the awkward or from the awkwardness
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because that seems very appropriate to just a lead up into that. A little bit of you may have not intended to dump out your purse at all, but you did a tiny bit.
Mhm.
So while Kate didn't get a full read, she got something there.
Yeah.
We'll return to that in a bit. As Cora and Lewis hop into the Range Rover and start to head in the same direction,
Hmm.
you'll do you ask for any directions or do you kind of already know where you're going?
Um, I think I probably would have some notion of where this is. It would be
Mhm.
something that Cora looked at when she was choosing where she was going to move to. But it's still different looking at something from the air than it is going there,
Mhm.
right? So
You probably might need a bit of help just getting off the exact road you are on
exactly,
to
that's what
get
I'm
to
thinking.
like a main road that you can kind of figure it out from there. So if he kind of senses that like you can literally see Hutchinson Island from where you're parked, but how to get to the bridge, it might be a little odd from where you are. So
Well, yeah, and that's basically what I'll
yeah.
relate to Lewis.
Oh, you want to go up River Street, take a left, and he's going to start giving you some base directions. But once you get to the bridge, he kind of cuts it off from there. He kind of assumes that's all you really need.
So you know that by memory, huh? You've been here a while.
Uh, yeah, grew up here.
Mm. Grew up here like we both do, or you know what I mean.
Mm. Born and raised,
Huh.
then embraced.
So this is home for a long time then.
Well, not as old as most people running around, but not a kid either, I guess.
And
I guess depends who you ask.
Chuck's, is that a favorite haunt of yours, or is just the place for tonight?
It's one of the places we go to often, but drinks are free, atmosphere is nice. Most people kind of leave you alone if you're not looking to interact much.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe you were having a bit of a bad night, or maybe you're tired of Savannah.
He rubs the back of his neck. Um, uh, I guess you would be able to understand this more than most, seeing as we're cut from the same cloth.
Uh,
Bad, bad brain day.
yeah. You know, when I first got here, mine was pretty intense too.
What's yours like? You know, it's okay. You don't have to say. Everybody's a little different.
No, that's the thing, right? Everyone's a little different, but I can't help but be curious. Uh, it's the one thing, well, specifically that we Malkavians have in common. And I know, I've heard if we let it out, it can get used against us, but I mean, how do you deal with something like that on your own?
For a moment, you see him look a little more gaunt at that very question. And he's giving the full 1,000-yard stare through the windshield. There's a few very long, silent beats. And there's that lick of the lips as he's trying to find either the will or just the words. That's why I'm at the bar that often. I don't have the answer to that.
Well, I'll tell you this. The the drive in, uh, when I had to introduce myself for the first time here at Wormslow, it was beautiful, but disorienting. It's uh, it's one of these things where mine isn't always so bad, but when it is, well, if I need to pull over for some reason, you'll understand why.
More than most. You can see he's trying to find a way to word this that still keeps it private.
Mm. We're both dancing
Yeah.
around it a little bit, wanting to say more, but not sure yet since we just met tonight.
He stops just short of asking a question, and instead he's kind of playing with his the end of his sleeve a tiny bit nervously, hands folded over his lap. I see things.
What, you don't have to answer if you don't want to. What sorts of things? Cora will turn.
And he stares out the window for a little while. And for a moment, he reaches out to almost touch his own reflection and just stops just short. I mean, looks back down and back out front again. He never meets your eyes. Things I think I'm supposed to prevent, but I don't understand what they are until they already happen.
Yeah, but that sounds hard. Me, sometimes I can't make heads or tails of what's happened at all. It's she'll flip the hazards on for a minute, just so there's like the repeat clicking noise. And she's not slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
And she just lets it happen a few times until like, it's like that noise, right? Turn it off now, but it might still keep going.
Mm. There's always some heart that's going to be nagging at you.
Yeah. Yeah. The since he's been a little vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. You also might get the sense that he's been not just drinking from the bottle, but drinking from people who have been drinking from the bottle.
Gotcha. Yes. I had a pretty hard first night. I think thinking about that is one of the hardest ones.
I saw his face the other night. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it.
Who's that?
The Bruja?
Yeah, both of them can feel the vehicle decelerate a little bit at this. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that one's going to stick around too.
They always do. Savannah's haunted in more than one way.
I'm sorry, Lewis, but I'm glad Harlan suggested we drive together for what it's worth.
He's a wreck of a person, but he means well.
Aren't we all?
Cora, the word wreck,
You took the words out of my
yeah,
mouth.
you might not see or feel anything, but there's some part of you that feels some distant tethering to a thought at the very perimeter of memory, thought. It's not conscious, but it's just this now a little floating point of the constellation of what's going on in the background of your mind.
Mm. She shifts in the seat.
Mhm.
um, Almost as if she's putting some distance between her and the steering wheel of the rover.
Mhm.
Or am I driving Lewis's car?
You're driving the rover.
Gotcha. So, the track you've been before?
Not often. Depends who I know is going. And there's a sense of both the social aspect, but also that sense of premonition.
Mhm. Do people try to take advantage of that? What it is that you do?
How do you take advantage of something that can't be controlled? If all the signs and portents don't matter until it's already happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So as they're in this confounded silence a little bit, maybe having reached a little bit of some mutual commiseration, it's a good time to pull the camera back.
Sure.
Okay. Let's check in with Tabby. As you were racing through the city, taking the long way around, you were actually pretty close to the bridge when you were leaving uh the underpass. Would only take you a few minutes, but Lila's been maybe showing off the car a little more than she ought to. But it's giving you a chance to, if there's anything else you want to ask or talk to her about. Not just how to catfish, but
No, that can wait.
Mhm.
When you're headed to like a populated place like this,
Mhm.
certainly if you're headed with people, do you have like a system or a way that you best avoid people that shouldn't be seeing you, perhaps crowds in general, while still being present? I don't know how often you're in populated places like this.
And she gets that wide split grin again. There's a few ways. I mean, tinted windows, acting out loud like you're supposed to be there. People tend to just sort of shy away because they don't want to pay attention to the person being too loud and obnoxious. Fuck them.
Hmm.
Wear driving gloves when you reach out through a slightly lowered window. I don't need to see their face or them to see mine when I'm removing pink slips off of dumb assholes.
Perhaps I should get a mask, but if I'm wearing a mask but always looking down at my phone, I just look like I don't know how to socialize.
I mean, it's a place to start. You
Yeah.
know, we'll graduate you from that, but there are other ways. Like, she's at a stoplight. She goes, go fuck yourself. And her face just turns to like a very obnoxiously pretty version of herself. She still has the same voice, but she looks like she went through the spa day, the live stream Photoshop, uh just languid, lush locks,
How'd you do
good
that?
skin regimen.
That's not the first time I've seen that, but can you tell me how that's done? I can't do that.
Well, give me a little. Come here, come here, come here. She grabs your hand and she puts it on the top of her head.
The
And you
tips
still
of Tabby's
feel,
ears turn pink.
yeah, there is no sensation of um that clear, pristine commercial skin or the hair. It's just you are feeling that so like gross, pallid basement dweller. Um, I'm trying to think of the correct word for like if skin was dank.
Does their skin feel less dank when my skin is also dank?
It is mutually dank and
Mm,
not in a there is a swathe of kush behind it, as in it is just
gross.
kind of moist and clammy, a little gross. But because you're both like that in your own way, that it's like touching another person for the first time without the complication of they feel like an actual person in comparison.
Mm.
This is just two gals being pals right now.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
You can't?
No. I can.
Oh, no.
Tabby
Okay.
just kind of sits still for a moment and uh hopefully will disappear.
I would say
Not entirely, but
you'd have to wait until, because you're trying to do it, right?
yes.
Okay. So because there's a little bit of lights coming through and there's starting to be a little bit of driving again. She goes, hold on, hold on, hold on. She pulls into an alleyway, kills the engine, the lights, everything. There's still like a little bit of very low running light that she can see some features of your face, but goes, okay, try it now. Impress me. Now,
Leaning into the shadows.
do you happen to have your page for this right now?
I can quickly pull it up with the Control F bar. I do have my character sheet, but I imagine you mean the details.
Because you're trying to do Cloak of Shadows, right?
That's what it was called. Yes.
Okay. At this level, the vampire must rely on nearby shadows and cover to assist in hiding their presence. He steps into an out-of-the-way shadowed place. We'll consider that the car seat with all the lights down in the alleyway. Their vampire remains unnoticed as long as they stay silent, still, and under some degree of cover, and out of direct lighting. No roll is required as the character fulfills, if they fulfill that criteria. If you remain quiet and motionless, no one will notice unless it's another kindred with high enough auspex. Now, she may or may not have auspex. She academically knows that you are there, but she can't see you. Now, you've had this explained to you before by your sire that it's not invisible. It's a trick. You will show up on camera. But it's a trick of the mind to simply either not see or for the internal tape to not be running at the time. In the same way that, well, I'm about to hurt everyone's psyche in here. You are not aware of your own nose until you close one eye. You are that nose, and she's not looking at it. Do you say or do anything in that?
Not for a couple of seconds. Enough time for it to settle in, display that it's being done.
Mm. And she's just gonna go, oh no, where did you go? And she's just gonna like sort of palm your head like a void basketball.
See, I can't do that thing that you do. I've seen it done before. I can't. This is the most I can do.
Okay.
That's why I
It's a
get
start.
that's why I get stressed about hunting and plan making because I gotta get in position, stand still, and then be not well seen.
Okay, but think of it this way. You're learning the few tools you have in the toolbox. Okay, once you figure that shit out, then you can start putting more tools in there. Learn how to use the ones you have really, really well. But the best thing is, you're already on the path to doing this. Just gotta spend more time with it. I can show you a few. A lot of us downstairs can show you a few things.
I want that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. You gotta understand something though. She drops the facade. This stays as it is. Cameras are gonna pick you up. You might fool somebody who's even looking at you through their cell phone, okay? But when they go and look at it later, they're gonna see the truth. Doesn't record the lie. So you can remember that. Now. Okay. I can see you're hurting for some activity, right? You want to do something?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to get a car tonight?
Fuck yeah.
My bitch. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. There's a lot of these dumb assholes that go to racetracks with their oversouped bullshit tuner car that they try and tune and micro adjust through their little laptop. Okay, fine, whatever. A lot of these dumb assholes do it on open Wi-Fi and it's not very secure. Oh no. Now we can do this a couple of ways. We can either make them lose, being like, you can sit in the driver's seat, you can have a little bit of fun. We'll top you out about 80, 90, but I don't think I can trust you at actual highway speeds.
I
No,
am a
this
little
car.
out of practice.
Okay, that's becoming more option F. Or we can just make them get so mad at their car not even starting that they get frustrated, and then I go, oops, turn it off and on again, and then whoop, do
Yeah.
a few things. We'll play it by your little ears by the time we get there, okay?
Did blink again.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. You're not really gonna be able to keep it if it's one of those overpriced special bullshit cars that they did to, I don't know, mom's Honda Civic, but selling it for parts gets you some money to go get a one that you can actually use. And I know a guy.
My bitch.
Fuck you. All right, let's go.
I took the risk. I wasn't sure if we were on the same.
It's fine, kid. Let's go.
Okay.
Artem,
Howdy.
are you riding in the front seat or the back seat of Harlan's car?
I'm riding wherever there's the most leg room.
Okay. For you, that would be back in the Range Rover because you are a giant man slab. But I guess we're gonna have to put you in the front seat with the seat almost all the way back of this. Trying to think. Can Mustangs or Corvettes have? Yeah, I've seen Corvettes that have like eight like non-back seat.
Yeah, it's really just an extended trunk with a chair in it.
Yeah. So
But
it's one of
yes,
those, and it's definitely an older one. But not like a super classic, but more like a late 80s, early 90s attempt at a revival. Um, in blue. She's kind of crushed in the back, but in a way it's just like I'm getting to ride in a Corvette and going to a racetrack. She's happy, especially because she's not pinched between you and the firewall. as you're heading there, do you say anything to her or to him, or because they're having a little bit of idle banter back and forth?
Yeah, I'll ask. So you may have said this earlier. How long have you two been living here?
Are you occasionally glancing at her in the rear view at all as you're asking this?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. If not the fact that you're almost sitting next to her from far how back you're actually having to sit in there. She goes a little quiet at that one and starts to turn her head towards the window. Hardly on either hand. Oh, like most of my life, really. But I mean, I'm not from here, but been living here a long ass time.
Were you here before, you know?
Before becoming this, yeah,
Mm,
I'd say that Savannah made me the man I am,
hmm.
or someone in it did.
Is it weird to ask about ages?
It's a little bit dicey,
Okay.
but I don't really give two shits about it, to be honest. I've been around for about 5, 6 years.
Me too.
Do you want to roll anything for that?
Uh, sure. Let's
Because are
see.
you intending to tell an untruth?
Oh, you know what? That might be a miscommunication.
I think so.
I meant to say I've been a vampire for 5 or 6 years.
Mm-hmm. Same question then, because it hasn't been that long.
Is it not?
No.
That's not what I remember. We might have to talk about
Okay.
that. I'll say the correct number. Then
Okay. So the number that we had discussed was under 3.
was it? Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. Little more than me then.
Yeah, there's a few young bloods running around, but I suppose. And he is looking at the rear view at Christiana, kind of just to mess with her a little bit. The joke kind of going around is elder millennial for me.
You know, before I came here, I knew two other people like us. Wouldn't mind a little advice for not putting my foot in my mouth if you can spare it.
And Chris kind of shrugs. She kind of has zero answer for that specifically. Harlan, on the other hand, well, I mean, a good trick is if you're not interested in politics, stay the fuck out of it.
That's my plan.
Unless you're trying to be in charge or run anything. It's just kind of putting yourself under a chopping block for no bloody reason. Of course, the real trick is trying to find something worthwhile to do without pissing somebody off. The question is, what do you want to do?
I want to live under a tree and not bother anyone and not have anyone bother me.
All right, so typical gangrel, got it. There's a reason why you don't see too many of your kind in the city, you know?
Yeah. You know much about the outskirts, the Mars, whatever it is?
I know it's not a good time to go out there, if that's what you're thinking of.
Why is that?
Well, most people can't see in the dark, regardless of all the little myths about us as a species. Boating gets real dicey at night.
Hmm.
So there's that to contend with. There's all the nocturnal, totally mundane creatures. And then there's everything else that goes a little bit bump in the night or gets loop in the soup. I don't know. Come back to me. I can do better.
Loop in the soup.
The marsh.
Hmm. I mean, I don't know, not to sound like a dick, but
You're going to power through it. I believe in you.
yeah. Not a lot of mundane creatures that I'm super worried about.
And that was going to be the next thing I come to. There's still a few Garu that kind of pop around.
Hmm.
You know what those are?
I do.
There's a few from time to time that wander through there. They like to call it theirs because they've been kind of crowded out of the city. They got to go somewhere, right?
Hmm.
And then there's whatever else kind of seems to wander out there. Sometimes it's some dipshit fledgling who doesn't know anything. Decide they're gonna just go stake a claim. Which, by the way, I don't recommend doing. That's sometimes the last anybody ever hears of that guy.
Hmm.
There's occasionally Sabat that try to go on through. You know what that is? Has that been explained to you at all yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh shit. Okay. And you hear Christiana do this little snort of derision. Okay. So you know what this town's supposed to be, right? You heard Camarilla, Prince, all that shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So think of it like, and she's trying to think of a way to say this nicely, due to your accent, but she's also a little rascally herself. And she goes, okay, so you got the Cold War, right? You got the West, the East, and they're both dicks to each other for this, that, and everything else.
Sure.
Okay, so Camarilla likes to think they're the West. The Sabbat are the Eastern Bloc, but they like to light everything on fire.
Hmm.
Um, so the Cams are, help me, Harlan, lesser of 3 or 4 evils. Sabbat is just darker than black bullshit. It's a bunch of I think the better word I've heard for it is death cult. They want to be naughty, naughty vampire gods and be worshipped by humankind. Yeah, because that worked out real fucking well last time somebody attempted that. Nobody learns nothing.
I assume that is not something that I would have covered with my sniper.
No.
uh,
You got the impression she's been in the woods a very, very, very long time.
mhm.
She may have missed a few updates to the
Mhm.
lore.
Right. Sorry, I think what I meant specifically was the thing about people worshiping vampires as gods in the past. Maybe someone did worship her as a god. That might
You.
make sense. Hey, that's different.
He said, not knowingly. Do you add
So,
anything onto that, or
so that's why we all play our little game with our fun little, with our princes and our primogens, because it's like the political party or something?
more of an ideology? It's an attempt at polite society rather than just being a bunch of rabble-rousing shitheads.
Oh,
But again, if you don't get involved in the politics, don't matter none. I mean, they might give you a whole bunch of rules. There's like 6 main ones, and however you want to interpret them, it kind of changes from place to place, from what I've heard. But really boils down to just a handful. Be discreet. Don't be an asshole. And don't get caught at either of it.
I'm gonna have to ask someone what the actual rules are, but that sounds easy.
See? I don't want to dress it up in flowery language, but I'd rather just boil it down to that. I mean, if I were to really boil it down to one expression, it would be just don't be stupid.
It can be hard for a lot of people.
Yeah, but then those people get to meet old Vega, and
Oh, she's very nice.
best to keep saying it. I have to. She's family. Does that trigger a question, or is he just going to look quizzical and furrowed?
Just quizzical and furrowed.
Okay.
He's got a fairly good idea of what that means, but
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do you leave it there, or?
Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Okay. So as each of you are in your own time and rhythm making it over Talmadge Bridge, before we go to break, tell me what each of you are thinking about as you're heading to your next destination. I'm going to start with Tabby.
Abby is excited for a number of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Is nervous about the in-between building up to when she is able to do what Lila displays, but
Mm-hmm.
is very excited about all the things that Lila seems to be excited to share with her.
Mm.
So there is some anxiety, but it's also mixed with, all right, let's give this a shot.
Okay. Kate.
Poppy is intriguing, but it is so strange to have a conversation with someone who is not constantly playing the game. She's unsure of what to do with, like, Poppy's not being completely forthcoming, but there is an earnestness there that she's not seen in a long time.
Mm. I will say that perhaps, and you tell me if this is somewhere Kate would take it. Maybe that's a different game.
She's not discounting how anyone's presenting themselves yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's too early to see what kind of facade someone might be wearing.
Mm-hmm. Poppy. since you're in the same car.
Yeah. So you know that WikiHow image of the man pointing at himself in the mirror? That's like the mental thing of like, you gotta get your shit together. As soon as you open this car door, it's game on. And I think she's trying to like pep talk herself as she's like looking out the window, being like, okay, like we can be mysterious and we can you know, meet new friends and not make it totally weird because she's decided that she's made it totally weird with Kate. Um, Even though she feels so grateful to be in a car with somebody that she doesn't feel like she needs to be fully like in, you know? Not like that. I mean, like in it, like game on, you know?
Mm. Well, leaving you with that uncertainty, let's move on to Cora.
Cora's stumbled upon an interesting parallel in Lewis.
Mm.
She has this mix of wanting to know more about him as someone who is a local and part of her clan, and uh, like a hesitancy about her own future eventually becoming like his.
Mm.
Um, and here she is on her way to a race track, putting herself in this interesting blend willingly of her past and her present. So she thinks about all of those things.
Artem.
Artem is thinking about how much more complicated being a vampire has to be outside of his wonderful, safe, gigantic forest with a bunch of werewolves in it. He's not excited about it.
Is there anything he's currently worried about?
He probably wants to know exactly what the rules are, and he's probably going to ask Christiana later.
Okay. Well, as our troop disappears over the arch of the bridge, I think now's a good time for us to fade out for a quick break. We'll pick back up in a moment. Welcome back to Savannah by Night. We left off with the aftermath of everyone having fed and now dumping out their purses in each other's respective cars in one capacity or another, as they are all heading over the Talmadge Bridge to Hutcherson Island and the raceway therein. So, getting to the track for each of you follows the exact same path as you funnel over the Talmadge Memorial Bridge, exiting to weave along the Harbor Parkway and golf course to your left, zooming by the daunting stature of the Savannah Convention Center until you reach a bustling race grid replete with bleachers, floodlights, tuner showcasing, revving engines, a DJ booth with a soundtrack blaring over the speakers that would make Fast and the Furious blush. Garages, pit crews, drivers of all levels. You can already see small heats in progress. Simple drag races for the time being, all christened by a rotating pair of blonde grid girls and one statuesque redhead. Welcome to Hutchinson Island Raceway. Now, before we continue, one of our players has actually been there. While I have added things like the bleachers, the floodlights at night, and everything to add a little more drama and theater to the whole thing, what are some details that you can remember that you'd like for the rest of us to know and for the audience to know?
Sure. So the drive down there is not a long one, but it feels as if it is because the roads get increasingly small as you make your way there. And there's almost sort of a procession to it because you turn off and you go down a long road, and the big tourist industry that is there along the shore starts to fall away, and it goes from shore to woods, and everything gets very green very quickly. I guess here, lots of dark shades of shadow here during the night, but trees that come right up to the raceway in parts. And you turn again, and because of this snake-like turn that you have to make to get there, you don't see anything but the track. It's like you've entered race, like a raceway dimension, essentially, when you arrive. And there's the barriers where on the curves they become tires. There's a lot of concrete, but at places it's painted with green and white checks. The rain can accumulate in spots too. It's Savannah can be a rainy place, especially this time of year. So you'll see it pooled in spots along the track. And you can tell it's well loved because there are spots all along where, even though this is not a natural termination point of the loop, you could just be halfway around a curve. You see donut marks. People just stopped to have some fun before continuing on. Or maybe that's where they decided to turn around for that particular adventure.
Or they've spun out and decided to steer into the skid.
That too. Yeah, it's nice. There's some connexes stashed off to the side, such shipping containers, that is, with graffiti all over them, and some old, kind of out of place looking floodlights. You know, like the lampposts look like something that you would see downtown. They're a little bit ornamental, but they're there. And as you turn off from the track to a place where you can array your vehicles as you're waiting to use it or hanging out with other enthusiasts, this is just past the checkered stripe of the finish line, and you turn off. There is a graffiti on the gate into that zone that separates it, and it's bled a bit, like they were a bit too close with the can as they wrote, and it says, "Was it worth it?" So yeah, it's a pretty cool place.
Thank you for sharing. So with cars lined up and a Fast and the Furious scene happening in the background, you're starting to pull up, and your cars are a lot more stand out in that they are definitely not for racing, aside from the one that Tabby arrives in. I like to think that it's probably a something like a Mitsubishi Lancer, maybe an older one, but still one that's been souped up a little bit. And it's the only one out of the how many cars are you at? You got the Lila and Tabby. You have Artem Harlan and Christiana. Kate and Poppy. So that's 5 cars. Did I count that right? 4 or 5? Either way. Okay. So one of those cars does not belong in that batch. Now, unfortunately, Tabby's going to have a hard time getting out and talking. But you do see them. You do have a group chat going. Do you say anything to them in the meantime?
Tabby will send to the general group chat. I'm here. We'll be skulking around. We'll attempt to try and join the group. Don't worry about me if I don't.
Heart react.
Anybody else say anything there?
Ninja react.
Okay.
And I guess Tabby will roll over that generally that just like kind of scarf nonsense that she has.
Mhm.
And
You are relatively well hidden within the tinted windows, so you wouldn't have to worry too much about anybody peeking in as much as
Yeah.
if you roll the window down, open the door, or get out, then it's going to be an issue.
Gotcha.
So,
Tabby will ask real quick. Are we watching the whole thing from here?
well, we're going to start. Then we're going to see who is the easier mark.
Mhm.
Or we can play this a different way. We can see which card that you want to steal. Now, remember, you're not going to be able to keep it, but still be fun for a few minutes, right? Even if you're just
yeah.
crashing it in the fucking marsh, it's going to be great.
Ooh. Yeah.
Maybe you can't keep it, but it doesn't mean they get to.
I mean, driving around and maybe having a little nest egg sounds good to me.
Okay, well, I guess we're going that route. Okay, fine. Practical.
Well, I mean, I just would I survive? I'm maybe you would. Would I survive a race car wreck? I guess you can't answer that for me, but I don't think I would.
Well, I would say that's something we find out not among a bunch of normies.
Mm.
But hey,
I like to think I'm pretty tough, but these cars move very fast.
yeah. So here's the thing. Do you know how on fire you would be if NOS go boom?
If what go boom?
NOS.
Oh,
I don't mean you mean NOS. I mean NOS gas.
I imagined like
But one would lead to the other
no
one would
opportunity to
imagine.
do anything about it.
Um,
I've heard it described like flash paper, but it doesn't go up. You just
you would be the
are
flash
on
paper.
fire that fast.
You would be the flash paper in this
Yeah,
case.
that
Okay?
sounds horrible.
Yeah. So don't do the dumb thing.
No, right. Isn't the dumb thing in the scenario crashing the car?
I didn't say be in the car.
Bail?
That's one
That
way.
sounds kind of sick. Oh, we'll figure it out.
Have you never just put a brick on the accelerator and just let nature take its course?
Not yet.
Oh, we're gonna fix that shit.
All right.
Not with this, not my fucking car.
Not
though.
your car, no. This shit's nice.
Damn right. And she just like brushes the dashboard a little bit delicately with the leather glove, as if it's just the most dainty thing in the universe.
Do you have a brick?
She looks
I'll find
around
one.
at all the concrete. It's like I feel like we could make do.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's find it. Let's find a car.
Okay, we'll check back in with you in a moment. What are the rest of you doing? You're all pulling up. Your cars are probably a little, like I said, they stand out from all the others.
Kate could not care less about the races,
Mm-hmm.
and this music is a fucking nightmare. But she is here to people watch to see if there's anyone worth making a connection. This is a social event to suffer through the not fun parts to meet and mingle.
Mm.
And Kate, as soon as like we approach and we hear the music, Poppy is like dancing in the seat. Like she's so hype.
What has been playing on Kate's car is probably like a late night, maybe like a college station. So it's probably like Noah Khan, very like low key.
Sounds vibey.
As you were cycling through the local radio stations trying to find music, you would briefly hear a woman's voice. You're listening to Savannah by Night. But we're going to go right past that, and you're going right to the music. I imagine as you pull up, whatever comparatively soft music is playing is drowned out. So do you get out of the car, or are you just chair dancing?
I chair dance until we come to a full and complete stop, Graham, and then I remove my seatbelt, and then I hop
So you're
out
not
of the
just
car.
ditching. Okay, great, got it.
No, I wait.
Okay.
I don't. As she's driving, jump and roll out. Not yet.
Okay.
I'll park
Maximize
the
the
car.
chair dancing opportunity.
I'll park the car somewhere out of the way, lock it.
You would find where your kind of cars are lined up. And I'd say you're all kind of arriving around the same time. So
How
you
does
get
everyone else look as they get out of the car? Like, is
Mm.
there anyone else not vibing? Or is everyone like having the full Poppy experience?
Christiana, I would say, as she sees Poppy kind of just giving it the gusto, she's gonna run up and kind of do the same, like just trying to do a little dance circle, just the two of them.
Poppy is thrilled, elated, excited.
Mm. And her leather jacket is tied and wrapped around her waist, and that like full volume hair, she's just sort of like rave headbanging in place with you. Harlan, on the other hand, is just, he gets out and he leans on the roof of the car, just, Lord, give me strength.
I'm gonna come stand by you.
Mm.
And Kate will say that out loud. And just kind of move away from her car companion.
Now, you don't know that he's part of the same social club yet. Is
But
that
for now,
still...
as we're like getting out of the car.
Okay. All right. Touch on that in a second. What's everybody else doing, just so I can have a sense?
So you might see Artem Kate asking Harlan if he has like a pair of earbuds or even just Kleenex or something he can put in his ears, because this is loud.
What? Oh, you're shit out of luck, friend.
Kate will reach
This is
into her
going to be
car,
lonely.
into her little emergency kit, and just hand you like a little travel Kleenex pack.
He'll sort of look at it, nod, take it. I don't have a prop for
Please
this.
don't actually shove Kleenex in your ears.
Somewhere Zeos Pantera is screaming at the screen, has no idea why. What is Cora doing in the meantime?
Cora will find a spot to park, and She waits for Lewis to open his door before she decides to get out.
Lewis takes a little longer to get out of the car, and there's this summoning up of something to propel him to move. And you know that he was a little sullen as we're getting off the bridge, and now it's a case of slowly pushes the door open. It forgets how high that a Range Rover is and almost hits the ground. It catches himself just mid-fall, just oh, I see things all the time and I can't see fucking that.
Cora makes a note to remind him to watch his step next time. And her energy, on the other hand, is fairly positive currently. Driving in, she took in everything you and I both described. And she's got a bit of a smile on her face. And perhaps she's walking a little bit lighter as she gets out of the vehicle and closes the door, but she's keeping it cool. She's taking it all in, but you know, hands with their thumbs in the pockets of her jacket, and just kind of surveys everything that's going on. Decides where she's going to stroll. She's not making any like deliberate, super tactical assessment. She's just admiring all of the sights and sounds, and then is going to start to stroll.
So she doesn't go to the group. She kind of she's going to enjoy taking in the scenery.
Yes, at first.
Okay. I'll come back to you in just a second then. As the other group sort of amasses around Harlan's car, Kate seeing that Christiana, who I'm not sure if you actually saw before.
I have no idea who she is.
Okay. But
I don't know who any of them are, but
okay, yeah.
Artem got out of the car.
Artem got out of the car. This would be on Artem to share if these are like-minded individuals or not, or if there's a way that this can be inferred. I have an idea, but I'm giving you the driver's seat for a second to have some initiative here.
Yeah, I'll as he's, you know, covering up his ears, I'll point to Harlan and say, Harlan. Then I'll point to Kate and say, Kate.
He'll lean in like over the car, like top of the car, kind of holding out hands. Oh shit, you're one of the new kids, ain't you?
You there last night?
Yeah, I wasn't quite in the splash zone, but looks like you made out all right.
It's not my first time having to step out of the splash zone.
Oh shit. All right. Oh, I'd like to hear about that.
And I'm gonna look at Poppy and Christiana. Should we just let them?
Just let them get that energy out.
Well, you might want to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it.
Oh, Artem, who is that?
Oh, her name is Christiana. She is the Primogen's child.
Not that word in public, man.
She's Alden's kid.
Sorry, did you just drop his name? Okay, because I was going to say I didn't know if Kate knew that he was Primogen. She knew he was Seneschal, but if he dropped his name, then
Yeah, just in public, might want to use more euphemistic language like the boss.
Right. Ugh.
Ain't nobody gonna hear that over this kind of din, but now you know for next time, right?
Mm.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take a little walk. Miss Volton, you want to join?
I'd be honored.
Good. Maybe we can kind of stick to the outskirts of all this.
Are there any of my coworkers that come to things like this?
I can point you out to one. I think I can see him already.
Be much obliged.
We can make that work. All right. As he starts to lead you through the procession of deafening. What is Poppy doing with her dance buddy?
I think Poppy, through her years raving, clubbing, kind of knows how to dance with a partner in a way that's like it becomes kind of a give and take, kind of a call and response vibe. And I think Poppy, in her kind of poetic mind, is thinking, how can I figure this person out as I'm moving around them and as I'm kind of just noticing as much as I can about this person. Especially since I think Poppy did clock that she has a little bit of a temper or something going on. Clause. Yeah.
Her emotions are a lot more wild in that it's not that there isn't any rhythm to it, but it's a lot more
Percussive.
a lot more gusto, robust, like just whatever she's doing, it's always at 11.
Got it. Cool.
So there is rhythm, but it's I wouldn't say that she would fit in necessarily at a mosh pit. She's not headbanging in that way. She's not thrashing. It's more just emotions are big, wild. Like she's dancing. There is rhythm. There is hip. It's not just like she's fighting on the dance floor kind of thing. Like there is a dance happening. You're not necessarily dancing the same dance, but she is still in your orbit and staying there.
Cool.
And you kind of get the impression that it's just at least someone's matching her energy on some level.
Yeah.
Even if it's superficial, it's at least right now.
Cool.
So if you are just going to stay there for a little bit, she'll do that. If you're going to try and join in on whatever's going on, all there, because there is some actual, a little bit of dancing going on. It's like a little more of a rave pit kind of thing.
Cool.
But there's
I think
also some. They're not dressed the same as you, the would-be grid girls, but still in that sort of like race queen vibe in one variant or another that are all helping races get going or hyping up rivalries or something.
cool. I think Poppy makes the plan in her mind. She wants to go dip a toe in the rave pit situation and then go and introduce herself to these very pretty women. So I think she'll kind of extend, like mid dance, extend a hand to Christiana and kind of shout over the music, "Shall we go join the big party?"
She doesn't maybe hear you, but she just goes, takes your hand, and she's going where you're going. But you see her turn around and look at Artem and just middle finger.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Hurt. Oh, this is gonna come up later in the group chat. Okay, great. Poppy's off with
You
the
hear her
scary.
shout something vulgar in his direction, but you can't quite make it out.
Stunning. Good for her.
Okay.
God.
We're going to check back in with Tabby a little bit. The car, kind of like some other ones, they're sort of roaming the space a little bit, looking either for a garage or a heat or a place to go showcase. So it's not unusual that there's a few cars sort of circling the space. Now, I could go through and just pick random cars from
I have
the
kind
old
of done
virtual
that.
library. Okay, so I was hoping that you would have something in mind.
Anyone who's an actual car enthusiast, I apologize, but Tabby identifies, we'll just say if it's available,
Mhm.
a Mercedes AMG.
Oh, okay.
If that is present.
I
If
did
it's
say that there
more.
were things at all levels minus F1.
Mhm.
So you would see a few AMG esque things, or you would even see a few Lambos. Like you do see a little bit of the higher end things along with tuner cars. So you could find something like that eventually. Is that something you're just wanting to eye? Is it something you're wanting to race against? Is it something you want to do something else to?
uh, Something to steal. Does
Okay.
not need to be particularly that, but
Mhm.
definitely one of the race cars that has a covering. Uh, I don't know. I imagine it's not like Formula One stuff
What
where
do you mean
it's
covering? What do we?
with a windshield and windows rather than
I see. Yeah, hard top.
person just exposed to the wind.
Yeah. Cars like that are called hard tops. So, you're not going to see convertibles in this sort of thing unless they're,
Right.
yeah. It's kind of ruins the aerodynamics and the structural integrity to have a convertible booting around a track. You do see them on occasion, but it's not the primary thing. Um, so yeah, if you're looking at that, I'm assuming you're pointing it out then.
Yeah.
Okay. She kind of
What about
slows
that one?
the roll down a little bit and just, okay, so what do you want to do? You want to try and race them for it, or do you want to? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not sure somebody with an expensive ass AMG is going to want to race a little Lancer. I could probably beat them pretty easily, but what's in it for them?
Yeah.
So,
Which one do you think you could obviously beat, but where they would be more tempted by the upgrade? I'm not picky.
mm, so here's the thing. I like where your head's at, though. Fucking
I mean,
let's take it.
I'm down to just try that. I don't know if we have to do it
So,
with a deal.
oh, I got an idea.
You usually have good ones.
Pull your mask down. We're gonna do something really fucked up. She's gonna roll by, but not quite too close to that car, and she's going to adopt that same glorious, gorgeous mask.
And tips
And
on the
she,
ears.
yeah, she's going to roll down the window just a little bit, and her gloved hand, which the few parts that are exposed look like normal human pigmentation rather than the, scrapings of a sewer. And she whistles and calls out a name. Hey, Matthias, Matthias. And this darker skinned man in a blue suit, like baby blue powder suit, he rolls back his lower half of the suit jacket and he leans on the car. It's just, oh no, I know that ain't Lila in there. Oh, you recognize the car. No, girl, I recognize the attitude. How you doing? She's just a little more giggly and girlish for a moment, but you get the impression there's a little bit of an act, that there's a little bit of a mutual act going on here. It's just, what can I do you for? Oh, you can do me later. Hey, that don't work with me. What do you want? I want that car. He looks over and you already got it. What do you need another car for? Like, it doesn't matter what I want it for. I want the car. Okay, so what do you need from me? I want you to facilitate a race. All right, what's in it for me? A chance to make an asshole suffer for buying that car. I mean, that's a fun time and all, but what else do I get out of it? Okay, look, if we sell it for parts, I'll give you a small cut. How about that? See, next time, lead with that. All right, so how do you want... He's not going to want a pink slip race for this. I know. Tell him to come over here and I will sweeten that pot for him. Oh, you're running that. I'm running that scam.
Abby wonders if she understands the scam.
You do not. She turns and smirks to you. And when she does split her face open for a moment, it's like the Beetlejuice teeth, despite the fact she's got the really pretty face.
Like pristine doll, but there's like
yeah, just jagged split ear mess. But when she turns back to him, it looks like normal people teeth. All right, I'll go get him. Thank you. This is gonna be fucking terrible, and I love it. You see this frosted tip douchebag walk over, but wearing like a really nice, but very loud, like suit pants and matching vest, but in very bright and vibrant colors. Kind of this sort of kaleidoscope patina. And after he's talking with Matthias, he just gets pointed over in your direction. The way he's looking at the cards, like, how is this worth my time? And you see Matthias lean in, whisper something, and he walks over in your direction. Lila again rolls down the window, and he's leaning on it, doing like the really obnoxious anime lean kind of thing.
Several feet too far.
Yeah. Yeah. She looks over at you again briefly, and she's just like, because you got your little beehive thing going, right? Or you're trying to like hide up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very much not looking towards him.
Okay.
Like she scoped him out before as he was walking up.
She subdues the grin just a little bit to look back at him and goes, "You think I'm pretty hot, right?" Uh-huh. Well, here's the thing. I'm not offering the car's pink slip tonight. If you think I'm hot, you should see what she looks like without the mask. And if you win, you get both of us. 2 pink slips for the price of 1. Uh-huh. Okay. If you think you can beat, all right, fine. I'll see you on the grid.
Tabby will whisper as he's going, "Good luck."
Are you trying to make it sort of sweet and sultry, trying to add a little bit of that southern charm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck.
He kind of looks like he doesn't know or care what he just agreed to in the case of like, okay, that was the thing. But he seems to be agreeing to it. And he's going to start getting up to the grid. Now, do you want to ask her any clarification at this point?
Tabby, who very they're covered up, so can't really see how utterly crimson, hot pink her ears are. But she, as soon as he does go away, does like kind of pull the dress back, and it's just like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Hey, we're not actually gonna.
No, not him.
I mean, if that's what you're into,
It's not. I'm sorry, I snapped
sure?
at you. He's not. I'm excited to steal his car.
His car. Okay.
You're the one offering both our pink slips.
With
I think
no
you
promise
bought
that
them.
I'm going to do that. You gotta get them in the door.
How do I know that
first.
you aren't into me and him, and this is your way of getting both of this in?
Sweetie, if I wanted both of you, you'd already be had.
Fair enough.
You're obviously the passenger princess. If I wanted payment, it already would have happened on that toll road. Now, let's go win a fucking race. Does the cast need a second?
I'm just proud to be here, Graham. Just really proud.
We were doing so well, but we're no longer G-rated.
Were we ever?
It starts over every episode.
I think it was gross rated, which is a better way to put it.
Rated G for gross.
I mean, we're some kind of G rated.
Okay, well, that's being set up. We're going to check back in with Cora as she's strolling along.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to anywhere in particular, or?
Do you know, I'm going to head around the outskirts of the music, and I'm going to walk towards where a lot of the people who are set up more for an event like this are currently parked, displaying their rides, and just perusing, seeing what's here. I'm curious about what people in Savannah drive, and I am keeping an eye out to see if there's anything from my company. I think it's rare that that would happen, but just in case.
I would say things run a bit of a gamut. There are sort of the quote unquote regular cars like the, Civics and Accords that have been tuned and tarted up a little bit in, that particular category. That probably have like 50 grand under the hood. And then you see the more
Absolutely.
mid-engine Exotica that you're probably more used to seeing that are untampered with in any real way, in the sense that they're probably tuned, but in a much more professional way. Like, you don't have people who are strapping aftermarket turbos into these things like you do in
that's fun too.
tuner. Yes, sure, but they can explode real bad. If you've ever been in a car where that happens, it's not a great time. No bueno. And for a moment, no ground. But again, it runs the gamut. You can see a kind of a wide variety of things. It's not necessarily what people drive around town all the time.
Of course.
But they have their Sunday best. And that's kind of what they're driving around at the moment. Things they take up for special occasions. You get some like all chrome affairs in some cases just to really get it glitzy and sparkly. You have like decal vinyl wrap kind of things on a few of the cars that you contractually not even obligated or not allowed to paint over. Like Lambo, you're not allowed to paint or get repainted. You have to instead do vinyl wraps. Some weird contractual thing. So you do see a few things like that. You see one person trying to replicate the dead mouse Nyan Cat Lambo look. It's horrid. But you do, yeah, get a few things. Are you looking for something in particular? I know you said
Not right now, no.
okay. But you're just milling around, trying to enjoy what's there.
Yeah, I think I'd like to head towards some of the garages. I know that maybe kind of close to where people are signing up for heats, if there's a place that that's taking place. Because I do remember being told that this is kind of an area where Titus hangs out and there's stuff going on, that he's someone I should meet. So I figure I'll head that direction.
Okay. Now the question is, you don't have a car to sign up for a heat with beyond the Rover, and that's
No. Yeah,
okay.
I don't intend to. I'm just going where people are congregating.
Okay. You don't know what Titus looks like yet, right?
No, which is why I'm just kind of directing myself that way instead.
But you've heard the name?
Yeah,
has it been mentioned to you?
Matilda told me.
Okay. And had Poppy mentioned it to you as well?
I
Or just
don't
the track?
think
Probably.
so.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah, like in passing or something.
Okay, so that's we'll treat that as 2 points of confirmation. That you know that's who you're kind of looking for. Do you ask around, or you're just kind of just looking to see what's going on?
No, I'm just kind of looking around. I mean, I know he's a designer, and I've spent a lot of time around designers. So I'm gonna look for someone who is acting that way.
You see a man who's a little more in charge, at least. Who is he's not necessarily like doing the signups himself as much as delegating correctly to a few people, and he's directing workflow. And schmoozing at the same time. Like he seems very much in his element, very confident. Like he seems like he 100% belongs here. That this is his world in every way that matters. You said that this was the racetrack dimension. He is the demiurge at the center of it.
Perfect. I would
and just because of you and your background, you would recognize that more than anyone else, specifically because of this environment.
So I have a pretty good feeling, but I would like to invite that panoply of color that I saw once at a night market, and use a little auspex to try to get a look at this man.
So you have 2 whole dots in auspex is what you're saying, right?
I do.
Okay. Do you have your page printed out, or?
I will need to move to that location.
Okay. So I will find the page. Here we are. So you're trying to sense his aura, is what you're attempting to do.
Yes.
Okay. So through this power, since I don't think we've actually showed it on screen yet so far, You're able to get all kinds of details about a person based on how well you roll. You can find out their mood. You can use it to see if they're lying to you, if they're nervous, if they are hiding anger, because some of them are very, very good actors. But auras don't lie, unless you're bad at reading them. So are you trying to do more of a wide net, or you're just looking at him specifically?
Let's do a wide net because I am less concerned about how people are specifically feeling right now and just trying to see who's one of us.
Ah. So you want to do a little quick sonar ping to see if...
Right.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I'm looking for almost absence, right? We're generally not as colorful.
It's more, in comparison, a little pale or dim. You still have
Mhm.
color, but instead of bright, vibrant red, it's going to be more muted, more understated. But you can still tell it apart easily because it becomes part of a textured, a tapestry of light. So now typically this is aimed at a person rather than a whole room, but you're trying to get a very broad sense. So I'm going to allow that because I think for the most part, it just makes things a little bit easier just to get that sense rather than having to eye each and every person to get it. But if you're just going for who's us and who isn't, rather than a psyche read,
Mhm.
I'm going to lower the difficulty from a base 8 to just a 6 because you're just looking for who they are, or rather what they are.
Okay.
So you're going to be rolling perception and empathy.
Perfect.
Do you want to spend any temporary willpower to get that? What I will say is that while pass or fail will change this, failure will not cut this off to you. You're just changing the route by which you get there.
Of course, yeah. I think since I have used the willpower already tonight, I think I'm going to go ahead and just roll as is.
Okay.
I have a single success.
Okay. So instead of getting a wide sonar ping, we're just going to say what is immediately around you. Is you don't really get a sense of hue out of the people around you. You're just getting a sense of level of luminance is going to be the way we put this. Some that
Perfect.
are brighter, incandescent, which is typically going to be, in comparison, mortals. You get a few that are slightly dimmed, but not enough to be like you. Probably ghouls.
Interesting. Okay.
But the man that you were looking at, suspecting, he is pale enough, his aura is anyways, to be of you. Now, you wouldn't know a clan, and you wouldn't know a name, but given enough context clues, you at least can go, I probably know who that is. Enough to at least go make an introduction, but you may want to be careful about saying anything just yet because you are still in public.
Of course.
So, what do you do?
I'll go ahead and walk up.
He's kind of looking past you in a way that is not like dismissive as much as he's kind of just prioritizing through the crowd who he's talking to next, who he's talking to next, who he's talking to next. If he's having to delegate, if he's having to introduce, if he's having to schmooze. He does get to you eventually, and he's just very calmly, very casually, very confidently, just reaching for your hand to shake. It's like, hey, how you doing? You must be new here.
That's right, Cora.
Cora. Why do I know that name? And he's holding your hand slightly, like just the shake ended, but he's just holding it as if to hold you steady for a moment so he can look at you more concretely. Yes.
Violente, I'm new in town.
Oh. Well, welcome to my grounds. Or I guess my playground.
Thank you very much. It's quite a display you have going on here.
A lot of people kind of peacocking around, but I gotta say, where I belong.
Well, that's what a lot of people like to do with these kinds of machines anyway.
You got experience with that. And he does sort of take you aside just a little bit, holding up his hand, just, give me a minute kind of thing to some people. And the way he does it, you kind of get the impression he's talking to a ghoul, at least.
Got you. So, I was a driver in a past life. Well, and a professional passenger too sometimes.
Who'd you drive for?
Unfortunately, I wasn't a racer, but there was a company that I did demonstrations with, essentially. Maybe you heard our slogan. It's elegance in speed and at motion, or excuse me, elegance in motion at speed.
I think I heard it in Italian.
That's right. The headquarters in Germany these days.
I did hear that. I'm sorry, I'm being rude. Titus.
It's good to meet you, Titus. Actually, I was told I should keep a lookout for you, given my background.
Are you looking to race?
You know, I would love to, but I came here in a borrowed Range Rover, so I don't think that's going to happen tonight. I'm happy to just watch.
Oh, now that would be interesting. So there's one little punk that I wouldn't mind seeing the smirk wiped off their face. Comes around here, and I don't get much reason to just get him out because he does bring money, he does bring people with him. But I wouldn't mind seeing him humbled a little bit.
It's very funny that you say that, because this is something I have experience with, in fact.
Oh, you're gonna have to tell me all about that.
Hmm.
It doesn't have to be right now.
I just think cobbled streets and a borrowed car, but I came out on top.
Oh, we might have to talk about some of the other street races we do then. You might do well. Assuming that story ended happily for you.
I should think so.
Huh. Well, you see, we could do this one of two ways. You can just race that Range Rover and see if you can beat him which would put a smile on my face.
Okay.
Or, because that would be a little difficult, he does actually have a half-decent car. Or I can give you one of mine. And if you beat him, you can keep his. But
Huh.
if you wreck mine, well, I could use another grease monkey or two.
I have a pair of coveralls, so
Oh, well, then you're covered.
it sounds like either way I can't lose in this situation.
We'll see. See, here's the problem. This is a car I tuned myself. So it might have a little bit more kick than you're used to seeing out of a car like that.
Okay, and what is this car?
Now, above the tip, before I answer this question, I want to tailor this to what kind of car would you like to see for Cora that is believable and achievable
Uh-huh.
for either, not for what he's going to lend you,
Yes.
but if you win, what would you, what would make this appealing to Cora? I think that's the way we're going to do this. Is it you can he's pointing out that guy's car to you.
Okay,
Is that a
well,
car you want or a car that you feel like you'd be stuck with?
so I'll say this. Cora likes to drive for the drive, not necessarily for the car. So
Hmm.
she'll enjoy doing this, no
Ah,
matter what's over there.
okay.
Um,
I do have an idea.
but
Mhm.
uh, I know you and I had a little list
We
that
You'd have to refresh my memory on because it has been a while.
okay, let me see. Basically, I looked for mid-engine cars that you can find used for around 7K and below. So it was, you know,
Under how much?
relatively 7K
Okay.
and below. So like
This is going to be
relatively
more than
achievable.
that
Okay. I
because this
have
is a
a
guy.
higher budget. That's
Okay.
nice.
The thing in my mind, and if you want to find something in that realm, is this guy has something like a Nissan 350Z.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Um, that actually
Th-
fits
It's like a really
because
butch Porsche, is what I always looked at it as.
yeah, that actually, if you find one that's very beat up, you can
Mhm.
actually get one in that price range too.
Okay.
As long as you go old enough.
Mhm.
Uh, so,
This is definitely
but
a newer
yeah,
one.
there's other cars like that. The Toyota Spider, the Pontiac Solstice actually, which has a god awful interior, but is very
Veto.
cool exterior. Um, uh,
We're just going to
so
make this a little easier. We'll go with the 350 for now.
okay.
And she can kind of just, oh no, she'll have to deal with it. But what he drags you over to is, oh, this is fun. It's an import, but not quite in the way that maybe you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Holden Monaro.
Oh, okay.
Holden is a Australian brand,
That's interesting.
but it is often rebranded as, I believe, a Ford in the US.
Huh.
Don't quote me on that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's often used for um, drift races
It's
because it's been tuned that way.
it's part of GM.
GM, okay. And it has been used as like tuner cars. It has been used as racers. And he's definitely done some work on it. There's pieces that are not original. There are pieces that have been added, removed. There are no back seats. There's just a single bucket seat with just a sort of the scaffolding of a frame within it, the like steel gear shift that looks like like Lego Connect kind of thing, where it's just exposed metal. You ever driven anything like this?
It's you know, I can't say I've had the chance to be in a car that is only to be an extension of the driver before, but that's sure what this looks like.
Of the driver or the man who redesigned it.
And she would say that like sticking her head in and looking at
Yeah,
the
like it's already open, as in
skeleton inside.
the hood, all the little panels are open. You can see into it. There's no computer, anything, or at least nothing wireless. It is plugged in. You kind of get the impression, actually, you wouldn't know this, but the players might, is that he's probably talked to Lila once or twice about not doing anything wireless and more just if you're gonna do it, you're plugging in. Don't be stupid. So there's that sitting there. Someone was at one point tinkering with it visually.
You know, when I heard you were a designer, I didn't necessarily expect no frills, all thrills, but that's what this looks like.
Hey, every now and again, you need a rocket ship. All right, do you want to let me walk you through how this thing handles, and we'll set you up. You remember our deal, though, right? You fuck this thing up, you owe me.
That's fair enough. You want to shake on it?
He does. So we'll pan out from there. Who haven't we checked in with in a little bit? Kate. We're going to be slightly rewinding a little bit to you just walking with a bit earlier to Harlan bringing you over to someone. Hey, Owen. He doesn't leave the perch where he's kind of leaning against the wall. He's clearly like scanning the area. Doesn't move, but he just kind of, as a result, makes Harlan have to bring you over. But you see, when you get closer, the man just sort of unperch. You must be Bolton, and he does reach out to shake your hand.
I'll shake his hand.
Owen Brooks.
I'm gonna kind of raise an eyebrow at Harlan asking the question, like when I asked him to introduce to coworkers, if this is one of them.
Yeah, you're part of the same office pool. Can I leave her with you for a little bit, or get going? And he happily slinks off to get a little further away from all the noise. You wouldn't necessarily see or know this as much as he and Lewis are just sitting down next to each other on one of the bleachers, kind of watching whatever's going on. Probably sharing a flask that one of them brought. Not that it really seems to matter, but maybe you don't know what's in there. So, how are you finding the city so far? And he leans back up against the concrete a bit, just watching everything going on. He's giving you his attention visually at first for the introduction. Verbally, he has, or you have his full attention, but he is obviously watching all the proceedings.
It's been all right so far. I like to see a little bit of it tonight.
Any standouts?
Found somewhere to snack. Got settled into my home.
Good. figured out a way to work within the institution yet, or are you still fielding offers?
Put in an application. I'm waiting to hear back.
Mm. So, I heard your introduction. What are you looking to do? Seasoning can mean a lot of different things.
Did I pick up on, based on his like crowd scanning and stuff, what his job might be?
You could infer a few things,
Mm-hmm.
but you know who has the title of sheriff, you know who has the title of scourge,
Mm-hmm.
and he is neither of those.
Mm-hmm. Something a little more politically or operationally minded. As far as our office pool goes, I don't exactly fall into security.
More of a stint than you might expect. At least that's how it used to be. Now some of these more modern blues get a little upset when the Dow drops a point, missing the bigger picture. So you're not here to do anything martial.
Not
What
exactly.
are you here for?
Put in an application with Jean.
Have you actually reached out to her yet?
Just a quick chat yesterday before leaving.
Did you get her number?
This was pre getting a phone, so.
Oh, so you're looking for an opportunity to link back up, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to filter your number towards her?
I'd appreciate it.
Well, she is a bit busy. And he's going to take out his phone and do you mind if I get your number while I'm at it then? If I'm going to be forwarding.
I'll give it to him.
He punches it in. And while he's still talking with you, he almost sort of blindly texts something else to someone else.
I can't get an eye of like what name gets pulled up or anything.
It's fairly quick. Again, because it's a little blind, he's doing it very rote, very from memory. So it's almost like if he doesn't need to see the screen, no one else is going to be able to very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to try and surreptitiously look, or do you want to let that pass?
I'll try.
Okay. So this is going to be perception alertness. We're going to give it an 8.
Okay.
Because he's being a little furtive and secretive about it.
Not rolling much, so 0's a 10, right? On D10s? Dumb question. Okay, then I have one success that's a 10.
Okay, you have no zeros, or no ones, I mean.
No ones.
Okay, you don't get the substance of the message. You get a last name. Redgrave. Which would be a number that was added to your phone. It was something I had to tell you afterwards.
Yeah.
So because I was doing this above the table last time, I will say that the number and name is the whip. So I'll let you get away with that one.
Okay.
Do you ask him anything or bring up anything else?
I don't want to bother you tonight. If there's anywhere else you want to point me, I can leave you to it.
You mean point you here or point you to someone else in town?
Is there anyone else I should talk to out here? This is not exactly my scene, but I figure meet as many people as I can while I'm new to town.
Well, in a very tangible sense, this is Titus Silverstone's, I hesitate to say domain, but
Has Kate heard that name before?
only if Poppy had mentioned it when she said, "Hey, there's a thing at the racetrack." Did she say Titus?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay.
Because I was saying that Titus invited me and all of
Okay.
us.
So you would have at least got the first name. There's a few looks around trying to see like who's paying attention in your direction. No one is. He kind of leans in. There's a few rosebuds milling around the place.
Yeah, I think the one I came here with is, and she's gonna like vaguely point towards like the dance area somewhere that direction.
Yeah, I clocked them the second they walked in. Hopefully they stay calm. I'd like for this to be an easy night for me for once.
Tend to get rowdy.
On Hutchinson? Not normally over here, but every now and again, I don't know if you heard the name Jolene yet, but every now and again she gets a little, how do I put this? Exceptionally stupid, and she tries to start something. Either with Titus or down at the Weston. Not often, just when she's bored.
So if I were to ever head to the Westin, keep an eye out for Jolene.
She doesn't go there often.
Good to know.
And usually she does. She's quickly kicked off. Under threat of, well, a steak dinner.
Well, at least you don't get bored.
Bit of advice though. She
Mhm.
does tend to operate just off the bridge to the, still on Hutchinson, but to the north. She likes to camp out there.
Can't see myself going there for fun.
You'd be surprised. Every now and again, somebody like us still gets a little bored, and that's our Weston.
I'll make note of that.
And every now and again, you gotta remind the rabble why they're the rabble. Enjoy yourself tonight.
Thanks. All right, I will go float.
Okay. Let's check in with Poppy and Christiana. Oh, sorry, Artem. I think it's been a while for you. What are you up to?
I've basically just been trying to regulate the noise. I've probably gotten it to a point where it's bearable now. So
Mhm.
I'm going to move into the crowd. So we might actually pick up Poppy and Christiana as I do that.
Mhm. Now, are you kind of dancing or are you just sort of bulwarking through the crowd?
Um, I think in my life I've learned how to move around an environment like this. So not bulwarking, but I want to at least get a look at this DJ,
Mm-hmm.
and then, I'll probably look around and start dancing.
Okay. Um, she's slightly hooded in a very stylistic way. Um, the hoodie kind of has it like lit up cat ears, and the uh backlight relief just makes you get her silhouette and then the light up cat ears. And you've seen probably lazy DJs before who very obviously plugged in their iPod and just look like they're checking emails. This person is both dancing on the stage, and it sort of seems like whatever rhythm she's doing, she is mixing things to put that rhythm on the floor. There is a dance as she's reaching for one slider or dial or the MIDI keyboard to do the mixing in and sampling. It is a live performance, not just I'm playing a track and then another track and then another track. This is not a radio goon. This is someone who's actually trying to take something and make something with it. So you might hear snippets of songs that you potentially recognize, but it's being flowed in beat and match to something else to create some synthesized different song.
Okay.
So as you're getting an eye of this person, what else are you doing? You're trying to find your charge?
Yeah, trying to find my charge. Maybe
Mhm.
also looking around to see if anybody's yeah, passing out pills or anything.
Are you looking for party favors?
Not looking for them, but
Mhm.
looking to see if they're around.
Hmm. Funny thing is, you do see someone. You don't recognize them, but you probably recognize the look. They look like someone who's dressed a little for the rave, but they're not standing or acting like someone who is at the rave as much as a waitress or bartender will be looking for the next person that they gotta go serve.
Mhm.
They're trying to chameleon in, dress a certain way, but it's more a case of so the narcs don't see them. Because they're just one loud flash of color next to another loud flash of color. Do you look like you're trying to find who's holding, or you're just trying to see where that person is so you just know where they are?
I'm just trying to see where they are so that I know where they
Okay.
are.
Okay. And what
It's
else are
good
you
to know
doing?
these things.
Mhm.
This point, I'm probably gonna look for Christiana and Poppy.
Okay. I would say that it doesn't take you too long to find them because they are. Oh, you tell me, Poppy. Are you trying to be the life?
Yes. I
Are you
think
trying to match
Poppy.
her everything at 11 tone right now?
She's not trying to match the everything at 11 because Poppy doesn't want to look desperate. So she wants to kind of create
Wow.
the graceful high energy as opposed
Mm,
to the sporadic percussive
mhm,
high energy, which Poppy's not saying she's not enjoying.
mhm.
But she's on a mission now to look her best. And so I think she's kind of attempting to when she can, like bring other people to dance with, make eye contact with folks, get up towards the DJ, and to see if she can kind of um almost like sync up with the DJ in a way, like seeing the movements the DJ is doing, anticipating that, and creating something new and cool based on that.
Do you
Yeah, so I think she's
abandon
trying.
Christiana to the crowd, or do you try and pull her through?
I think I try and pull her through because Poppy also, after the Kate situation in the car, is realizing that like she didn't have friends until this moment and hasn't had friends in a couple years, and is feeling very attached in that way. So she's trying to kind of like bring Christiana in while also creating just like a very glorious little bubble of dancers.
The kind of change in and out, but the two of you are the moving nucleus.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So as long as you are not trying to filter her out, she's just gonna follow along. Like she wants to live out loud. She wants to scream and dance and whatever is on offer,
Yeah,
she's going for.
great.
Absolutely no hesitation, no time to hit pause.
Got it.
So as you're trying to get up to the DJ, actually, let's add a little bit of chance to this.
Okay.
Do you have performance?
I
It'd be in the middle
have
column.
2 in performance.
Okay. So you tell me what the argument is then. Do you want to use dex and performance, or is this a appearance, charisma? Charisma probably.
I feel like charisma makes the most sense for the kind of like she wants the proverbial spotlight a little bit on her, just,
Okay.
a little bit.
So let's dial this in a tiny bit before you roll anything.
Great.
Do you have presence?
I do have presence. I have 2 pips in presence.
Okay. Let's look at that really, really quick, because I don't think we've used presence at all in this game.
No. Since I have 2, I have awe and I have dread gaze.
Okay.
So the awe is like kind of the classic vampire gorgeousness, hypnotic vibe, which could be good here. And then the 2 is the scary one, the dread gaze, where I make people scared of me.
So, what you could do, if you wanted, I'm not saying you should do this, you wouldn't necessarily affect the DJ, and maybe you wouldn't want to.
No, the DJ is her own person. I see her as a bit of a higher in the strata.
And I believe you have you been told? Oh, no, I think that's been the recurring joke is you have not been told about raves. You had not been told.
No one told me about the DJ. No one's told me about rave culture here in Savannah. I've been absent for every conversation about it.
So you don't know that this is one of you.
No.
But the audience does.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, above the table, what I will be saying is that it's very possible that this is someone else that is using some amount of presence on the crowd.
That tracks.
So, but you're trying to influence a few people around you.
Yeah.
Okay, to try and just make yourself a little spotlighty.
Yeah. A sexy little vortex.
Do you want to make Christiana part of that pool, or are you trying to let it flow around her?
I think letting it flow around her. I think Poppy considers her one of her.
One of her people right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna roll charisma and performance. Actually, here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna roll charisma and performance for awe first.
Okay.
And this will affect the difficulty of what you're doing.
Okay.
So this is a difficulty of 7. Do you want to spend a willpower for this? You don't have to. Okay.
No, I think it would make sense for Poppy because she is feeling this relief. I think.
So
from being
in
a
order
performative
to
place.
mark down temporary willpower, there's your main willpower track, and then there's the little square boxes underneath.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you are not erasing permanent willpower when you don't have
Okay.
to.
Excellent. Yeah, I'll use 1 willpower.
Okay.
And I'll have to roll another dice separately, unfortunately. Because I just have so much charisma. That is 4 successes.
Any ones?
No ones.
Good.
And make that. Oh, yeah. That was 3 failures, but no ones. 4 successes.
Okay.
3 failures,
Nice.
no ones.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to exude a certain amount of, well, to go back to Cora for a moment, you're trying to exude a certain aura around on those around you. Much like you are at a track, you're trying to rev them up. I'm not going to have you roll the other one because it's, I think, moot now. You're not competing with the woman in the booth. The only thing you can really do, and you've gotten the impression, well, no, never mind, because you wouldn't know this anyways. You're not able to redirect them in the way that the DJ is clearly in control in some ways. We're able to create a little bubble of influence.
Yeah.
Clear little.
She doesn't want to steal focus. She wants to like be an ornamentation on the current party, you know.
A little bit of a sparkle.
Yeah.
Okay. You are able to have a certain amount of social magnetism. You're pulling people into the dance and then sort of just streaming them out. But more importantly, you are at least in this little pocket, and you're not the only one. There are multiple around the dance floor, but you are at least a more dazzling ornament in this little pocket. You are the ornament among an array of them. You have joined a rhythmic tapestry.
Excellent. Poppy feels better than she did.
Now, do you include Christiana in this?
I think so. I think Christiana, if she can, kind of have her be part of the focal point of this sparkling pocket moment. That's fun too.
Yeah, if you're keeping her part of it, she's there.
Yeah.
Much like you're getting the impression that she just doesn't get to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. I think Poppy, in a way, is like, thank goodness I did this for her. You know? Like, I fixed it. I made this better for her. So therefore, I'm good.
Ooh, we gotta invent a rule for self-awareness. Okay. As we peel the camera back over to Tabby, you are lining up on the grid.
I assume I'm just also in the car with her.
She's trying the awkward thing of trying to get you to switch seats with her.
Oh no.
So it's a good thing the windows are down so you can make this awkward clambering eventually happen while you're on the grid. The camera on the outside might see the car just slightly shift and rattle in place a tiny bit.
Wait, am I driving?
Unless you know how to hack someone's car. Yes.
All right then.
Now,
I assumed that this was all kind of a carried by you thing. I've driven before. God, let's see.
I did say, as long as we're not going over 100, you can drive. And he's not going to go very fast in a second. He might go at first. Okay.
All right.
I kind of figure you put your foot down, it'll go in a straight line. You figured that part out, right? Yeah.
We're not going in a straight line. We're going like around corners and stuff.
And yes, but you're not going to go in infinity miles an hour, okay? Like you
Right.
know how to at least do the straightaway?
Yes.
Because that's where we're starting.
Cool.
Okay, can you figure that out? You good?
Yes.
Okay, can you, for at least a moment, think of your foot as a brick that it goes on the gas pedal, the one on the right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And wait, this is not the car we're bailing from? Okay, different plans. Good. You said brick, and I for a second thought that you were planning to bail from this car. This is your car, so no.
You do see that pretty face give the Beetlejuice teeth again. Just, I'm having second thoughts.
I'm not going to bail from this car. I was confused because you said, imagine your foot's a brick. And we definitely had a conversation about bricks before. I'm not going to bail
I
from
wish
your
I
car.
had a brick right now. Dear, Are you good to drive?
I am good to drive.
Are you good to not bail out of the car?
Yes.
Good, because if you bail out of the car and I'm in the passenger seat, I'm going to be fucking angry.
Makes sense.
And we won't have to worry about you having a spare ID for shenanigans. You won't live that long.
Okay, Jesus. Yeah, fine. I got it.
Finding my pressure points, finding my pressure point. Okay, cool. All right. And when she says finding pressure point, she does, it kind of starts to palm your skull again. Just like, there's my pressure point.
Oof. All right.
Gonna pop that like a teenager's zit. Okay, so. And she brings up a little laptop. And it looks like one of the tuning laptops that you may have seen. A little more higher end. As she's kind of bringing up some array of menus and command lines and everything else. Okay. So the Wi-Fi doesn't work on my car, but all these other assholes leave it open. It's like they just leave it as password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fucking spaceball jackasses. Okay.
I've never done that.
Give me your phone.
It's not. It's hands her the phone.
How easy is it for her to get in? Did you even put a
Second
password
attempt.
on it? Is it because the attempt is password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
It's one of those. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
She disables
They
the
wouldn't
password.
guess.
Goes, I'm keeping this for now. And then if you don't fuck this up, I'll give it back to you. And then you're going to put on a real password. Or I will
That's
break it
great
myself.
because if I fuck this up, then like everything bad will happen. So I probably won't miss my phone too much.
I'm having third thoughts. Okay. Finger crack. And she doesn't even take off the leather driving gloves as she begins to tippity tap on the keyboard. And as The music starts to swell up. The EDM BPM, I guess, would go up a few. Camera starts to pan along the grid to the two cars, getting the fine granulation of the particular formulation of concrete. And just as one of the blondes walks over with a little flag, not quite short hair, but a little bit more of a spunky wild cut. She's holding the flag in her little short race queen outfit. She holds up her arms, pointing to you, pointing to the other person, as if getting like, ready, ready. And as her hands go up, there's that held breath as the beat begins to drop. Her hands start to come down, but they stop as we cut to black. Credits come up, and we'll pick that up next week. Thank you all for watching. We'll pick this up next week on Wednesday, but before then, on Tuesday is our regular D&D game. I hope you come check out one or both. Thanks all for watching. Have a good night.